The Republican National Convention kicked off on Monday, and it was far more engaging, entertaining, and educational than the DNC snooze fest last week, but I guess they did set the bar pretty low. It started off a little slow, but it did get pretty good, and was a million times better than the Democrats' convention. Of course, CNN and MSNBC couldn't help but cut in every few minutes to fact-check and complain about what the speakers were saying.
Make those things happen. In America,
you're watching the first night of what is sort of the Republican National Convention. We have been jumping in and out a little bit, in part because there's been a lot of things that have been said, even by very establishment speakers tonight, that have just been wrong, and we feel like we need to just factually correct some of the record. Again, not to analyze what's happening while it's happening, but for example...
Not to analyze what's happening while it's happening, but that's exactly what they're doing. They couldn't even wait until it was over. It was their duty to tell you right in the middle of it.
We're dipping in and out of coverage tonight when things are being said that aren't factually backed up and that potentially have major implications.
And the moment President Trump was done making his first appearance, CNN, of course, had to cut in and give their 2 cents.
You're fantastic people, and the people you represent an incredible group of people, and we love you all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good evening.
The first appearance tonight from President Trump. Dana, your reaction?
Well, first of all, Wolf, they were really not socially distant, not wearing masks, standing there talking.
They weren't wearing masks. And because we're living in Bizarro World or the Twilight Zone, even Fox News kept muting the speakers and bringing on panelists to babble about the convention while it was still going on. Here's Black Democrat Vernon Jones from Georgia's State House explaining why he decided to break ranks with the Democrat Party and endorse President Trump, something I would think would be interesting for Fox News viewers.
Our police need more funding, not less, for frequent psychological examinations, for non-lethal...
Small break here. We have Mark and Patricia McCloskey also coming up in just a moment, but first get a quick reaction from Dan Bongino and Leo Terrell. Dan Bongino.
Well, Sean, what a difference in the opening. I mean, Americans want to be proud of something. And
Americans tuned in to Fox News because they actually wanted to listen to the speeches, not Sean Hannity and friends give their opinions about speeches that they themselves aren't even listening to. What a strange world we're living in when CNN actually has better coverage of the RNC than Fox News.
I'm a man of color, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, too. You may be wondering, why is a lifelong Democrat speaking at the Republican National Convention? And that's a fair question, and here's your answer. The Democratic Party does not want black people to leave their mental plantation. We've been forced to be there for decades and generations. But I have news for Joe Biden. We are free. We are free people with free minds. And I'm part of a large and growing segment of the black community who are independent thinkers, and we believe that Donald Trump is the president that America needs to lead us forward.
Who needs to listen to that powerful speech when we have Sean Hannity repeating his same 3 talking points every single night? Fox News also didn't think it was worthwhile to air this man's speech, a Cuban-American whose family fled Cuba to come to the United States and became successful business owners and warned against the Democrat Party becoming communists.
I'm speaking to you today because I have seen people like this, ideas like this before. And I am here to tell you, we cannot let them take over our country. I heard the promises of Fidel Castro, and I can never forget.
They do. They show them as empathetic, as personal, as caring. I mean, Jim Jordan talked about politics, but it was even more powerful.
Yeah, we really need to listen to more of Karl Rove. Unbelievable. But they made sure to air neocon Nikki Haley's speech. Their new executives weren't going to miss that for the world. We miss you, Roger Ailes, and we're trying to carry on your legacy through YouTube, but it's an uphill battle. C-SPAN was trending on Twitter because so many people noticed that, unlike Fox News, they were actually covering the convention. Many others watched it on OAN, One America News, the up-and-coming conservative network that many are fleeing Fox for because they actually covered the convention too. Of course, C-SPAN, OAN, Right Side Broadcasting, and Donald Trump's own YouTube channel all streamed the actual convention, and many viewers watched it that way. Many were stunned at Fox News' terrible coverage, including Brad Parscale, President Trump's former campaign manager, now the digital strategy advisor, tweeted out that he couldn't believe that he had to watch it on CNN. I replied to him saying, once again, YouTube is where it's at, Brad. Try listening to us YouTubers from now on instead of worrying about Twitter and Facebook all the time, bro.
Pretty powerful.
It is powerful, and I think these taped pieces are working quite well for them so far in terms of that. So we want to bring in our panel. We'll go around the horn here with Chris Wallace, Brit Hume, Dana Perino, Juan Williams, Donna Brazil, Karl Rove, and Katie Pavlich. A great group tonight. Chris Wallace, let's start with you. Your thoughts on what we've seen so far.
I'll take it from here, Chris. You should wait until the convention is actually over to bring panelists on to talk about it. And then maybe just keep it down to 1 or 2. You don't need 9 people on the screen giving their opinion. The star of the show was Kimberly Guilfoyle, who gave a very energetic speech that Fox News also skipped over. So here's a clip of it from CNN.
They want to destroy this country and everything that we have fought for and hold dear. They want to steal your liberty, your freedom. They want to control what you see and think and believe so that they can control how you live. They want to enslave you to the weak, dependent, liberal, victim ideology to the point that you will not recognize this country or yourself.
Some people thought she was a little too excited, but if there was an actual audience in the room, if this wasn't a virtual convention, she would have brought the house down. Donald Trump Jr.'s speech was great too, one of our greatest allies in terms of pushing back against big tech and their censorship agenda.
Joe Biden and the radical left are now coming for our freedom of speech. They want to bully us into submission. If they get their way, it will no longer be the silent majority. It will be the silenced majority. This has to stop. Freedom of expression used to be a liberal value, at least before the radical left took over. Now the Republican Party is the home of free speech, the place where anyone from any background can speak their mind, and may the best ideas win.
Overall, I would give the night maybe a B+. It was better than I thought it was going to be, especially with no audience because of the social distancing. So with the exception of a couple slow spots, it was a good night. I literally fell asleep every night trying to watch the DNC, but this kept my attention. So subscribe to my channel for new here, and I'll keep you posted on how it turns out throughout the rest of the week. And don't forget, you can get 20% off of my new Come On Man shirt, or the Dare to Re-elect Donald Trump shirt, or any of my awesome designs through the end of this week if you use the promo code OldJoe at the checkout. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below, enter the promo code OldJoe, one word, at the checkout, and check them out!